Please welcome Mr. Christopher Lloyd. So good to have you back. It's been a while. We have a microphone all ready for you. It's been 7 years since you were last here.
Could be.
It could be.
This is on?
Yes, it is. You need more volume? I'll give it to you.
It's on. We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, great.
All right. Would you like to get to some questions, a few things to say, whatever you're comfortable with?
Shit, a lot of... I mean... Ask me a question. Go ahead.
All right. I've got a question. Raise your hand. We'll come right around. Right down front. And once again, thanks for coming back. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, delighted.
All right, we have a question for you right here.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Lloyd. Thank you for coming. So my question is, tell us your experience about doing voice work for animated shows and movies.
What kind of movies again?
Animated shows and movies.
I got nothing against it. I like doing animation.
Is that? Yeah, if you could hold the microphone.
Angle the microphone a little bit.
A little closer.
There you go.
All right.
Straight into the top. Straight into the top. It's unidirectional.
Now, yeah. Well, at first I was kind of reluctant, I think, because I'm trained as an actor, and I feel I want all 180 pounds of me to be on screen at the same time, and not just my voice. But as I got into it, when it's just your voice, everything depends on what you do vocally. Things you might do with your body, you can't do that in your throat. So it's all, you have to register all the same emotions with your voice. So it's more of a challenge than I thought when I started doing it. But I'm very glad I stuck with it, because it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, I tend to, when I'm just doing a vocal thing with a mic like this, I tend to get my body into it. I get and all that kind of stuff. And they film, in some productions, they will film those things you do when you're vocalizing. And then if they like it, if it fits their idea of a character, they'll use those gestures when they animate with painting the character.
Nice.
And I think I've about done it. I'm sorry? Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And off to your left, against the wall, have a seat, relax. We got a question right for you over here.
Hi, Mr. Lloyd. Thank you so much for coming today. It's a pleasure to meet you. My husband and I are huge fans. I have two questions for you. The first one is, what was your favorite line from Back to the Future? And the second one is, it's my husband's birthday today, and he is your #1 fan, and I'd love for you to wish him a happy birthday.
All right.
She didn't tell me that as a precursor.
Okay. Wherever you are. Where is he? Hey! Let's all sing happy birthday.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
#1 fan of Christopher Lloyd.
Happy birthday to you.
There you go. She snuck that in. No more of that.
Now what?
I think
There's no other birthdays. There's
I think
no
the
other
question was, what was your favorite line from Back to the Future?
Oh, yes. I guess I have to say, the future is what you make it. Make it a good one.
All right.
That came up earlier today, as a matter of fact. But in that connection, this film was it 1985, 83 when the number one opened, somewhere in there, and so many people have come up to me and said how very often from kind of impoverished situation, and how much Back to the Future trilogy meant to them. Very common for somebody like that coming up to me and said, "You made my life back in the day," and I've done no other films that have had that kind of reaction. They'll say that they became engineers or physicists or doctors influenced from that film, and I really feel great about that. That it did something very profound for many. So, and that's enough of that.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to head to the other side of the room.
We got a question over here on the right side against the wall. This gentleman has a question for you.
Yeah, considering Back to the Future Part 3 is your favorite movie about the three Back to the Future movies, could we see Back to the Future Part 4 considering the, your two sons, Jules and Vern, carrying on your legacy in Back to the Future Part 4?
What about it?
You think we could see Back to the Future Part 4 with your two sons in the movie, Jules and Vern, carrying on your legacy?
Yeah, that would be great. But it doesn't seem to be happening, you know. And I know the producers and whatever writers, maybe they just haven't come up with an idea to carry on from where 3 left off. I sometimes think it would be interesting, perhaps. I know it's crazy, but if Rick and Morty and Doc and Marty, way out in space-time, Never Land out there, the pair of them, Rick and Morty and Doc and Marty, run into each other and have a story about what happens then. You know, just seems to be, maybe that can't be done. Maybe it's technically just impossible to pull that off. I don't know. But it could be fun, I think.
Well, Chris,
Moving on.
Chris, we'll stay over on this side of the room, the right-hand side. This gentleman has a question for you.
Hey, Christopher. I've idolized your movie since I was a little kid. Every single comedy I've ever done, from Mr. Mom, One Who Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest, Back to the Future, even ones as crazy as Dennis the Menace. But one role that really stuck out to me was your part as Commander Cruz on Star Trek 3. That was really different for you because you actually tapped into a sinister role. What was that like?
Yeah, back then, I mean, I hadn't done that many films. I'd done one for the Cuckoo's Nest and a couple of others kind of obscure. And then this came up, and I was curious what the guy, the creator of the show, and the cast, all that, what they saw in me that made them think I'd be a good Klingon. That puzzled me. I still haven't figured it out, but I am very grateful. I love the role. I love being have the honor of being a Trekkian, so to speak. And it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. We're going to head over to the other side. Over here, off to the left, we got 2 questions over here.
Hi, since you've done a lot of various roles, what's your process of getting into a character?
Well, I read it, of course, the full script, and I guess the first thing I want to do is find some connection in myself with the character. And it doesn't matter how crazy he is, sane he is. It doesn't, because I got to find out what is important to this guy, and I keep going through the script, and then I say, oh, that's what this moment is about. I understand that because I've lived that moment to some degree in my own life. So I have a connection now what that moment's about. And I just find moments, more and more and more of them that all kind of relate to one another in some kind of way and put together a character. Then, of course, considering what does he wear? What kind of clothes does he wear? And does he have a beard? Does he not have a beard? Whatever, you just dig until you feel, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah. So
I have a question to follow up on that. What did you bring to Reverend Jim and Taxi? I mean, did they give you, here's your clothes, here's what you do? How much of you were you be able to put into that using that process?
Well, I there's a friend of mine who lived in Laurel Canyon up in the hippieville, so to speak. And he had he was cleaning out his yard. And he came across that jacket that I wore. Old beat up hippie jacket, perfect. And I got arrested. And when I came for my meeting, they told me to wear what I was wearing. Because I wore it for the meeting, and they said, bring that back for rehearsal. But what was the question?
I just asked you how much of you were you allowed to put into the role?
Oh, I put in everything I could think of.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So here's a follow-up. Here's another question right here.
I have 2 questions for you about Roger Rabbit. Did you base the Judge Doom character off of anyone in particular, maybe yourself? And do you notice that you don't blink in the movie, at all?
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of felt that. He was a non-blinker, so went with that. The cartoon characters, spy versus spy, people, I don't know whether it's still running now or whatever, but it's 2 spies outfoxing each other. And they had black rim hat, sharp features, all in black, and that sort of my inspiration. And he's just deliciously evil. Puts the little shoe in the liquid. Anyway.
All right, well, we'll take a couple questions back over on the right side of the wall here.
We only got time for a few more. And then Christopher will probably be heading back to his table or doing another photo op. Probably back to the table.
He's going to be a very busy man today. Go ahead with your question.
All right. My question is, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book?
Yes.
Golly. Yeah, Jules Verne. I tell you, I'm reading a book now. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's got me hooked. I read Crime and Punishment a long time ago, and kind of a compelling story. And what I'm reading now is a history, the writer reading the history of Dostoevsky. He paints a picture of the time and place of St. Petersburg, the way life was back then, and all that Dostoevsky himself went through, and how he came about to write this story about this guy who plans this crime that he's not going to be. They'll never guess that he is the guy who takes a hatchet to an elderly woman in her apartment. But he does get caught in time by what he exposes dealing with the guilt. Anyway, I'm reading about that. And
What was the name of the book?
I never know.
Now you stumped him.
The Saint and the Sinner, something like that. I'll figure it out.
He'll get back to you.
He'll be headed to his table. You can get the answer there. Okay, we have one more question here, then one more over here. Let's do this one first.
As a physical comedian that has had so many iconic roles that had big body movements that made parts of movies, was there ever one moment where it was completely unintentional in terms of the physicality of your comedic moment that made a movie and made a moment so much bigger and better than it was intended to be?
Yeah, but it kind of because I spent a lot of time trying to get into the head of the character, what he's feeling all the time, and why he feels what he feels. Just and then it's time to shoot. You've spent weeks or days or whatever, and it's like we'd start doing the scene, and because I've been so focused on it for so long, things happen I don't expect, and they're like suddenly, boom! I get a moment of flash about, this is what I'm going to do now, and that's kind of the way it goes.
Okay. Yeah. We have one final question on the far wall. Once again, he'll be headed back to his table to sign. Let's do it.
Go ahead with your question.
My question was, besides acting, what do you do in your free time?
Not much. I go to the regular, read. I read the newspaper every day. I'm kind of a fiend to know what's going on. It's like a dozen different soap operas. I gotta keep up with it, So I do that, and my wife and I will plan dinner, go out with friends, We got a dog, crazy dog, so there's three of us really. Kind of like go to a movie, watch a movie on TV, learn lines. I got a moment now where I don't have a job coming up, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm so glad tomorrow's Monday because then the phones start ringing again. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's it.
Well, we're certainly glad you found some time to come out and hang out with here at Steel City Con.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give it up, Mr. Christopher Lloyd.
Take care.
I think you can do better. It's the last Q&A of the day. Give it up. Give it all you got.
Yay!
Hey guys, don't forget our friends over at 80stees.com who sponsored this panel recording. You can use code FSFuture for 30% off on their site, which you definitely want to visit, because as soon as their homepage loads, you're going to see some serious
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.